Hello, Kellyanne Mataskevitz here from MakeBigMagic.com. If you're catching me live, pop on, say hi. If you're catching the replay, pop on and say hi anyways. Today I want to pop in. Apparently that's the word of the day. What's coming through is to share with you about what's really happening when you're putting all this effort in to create financial flow in your business. You're putting the offers out there, you're putting yourself out there, or maybe you're not, and you're still not making the income that you desire. You're not receiving what you need. There are a myriad of ways, and I want to share one of them with you today that maybe you can relate to. Because if you're even on this video long enough to be at this point, you're probably someone who does the inner work. You journal, you do a gratitude practice, you take the action steps that you need to for your business, and yet still something isn't creating that income that you desire. You've got the ebbs and the flows, like big cash influxes come and then all of a sudden it crashes down and you haven't been able to sustain that expansion. And so even though you've done all of the belief work and you've done your affirmations, something isn't shifting. And here's why. It's because it's not so much about, so if the belief work that you're doing, right, because we're multidimensional beings, right? So the belief work is going to happen in the mental body, right? We've got our emotional body, we've got our energy body, we've got our physical body, we've got our spiritual body. And so when my clients are working with me, we're working on multiple levels in all of those bodies on multiple dimensions. And so if you've done the belief work, you've done the gratitude work, you've got your systems in place, but something still isn't allowing you that the financial support that you need and desire, it's because there is an inner aspect of you. Now, some people I call it aspects. I've been calling it aspects for years. An aspect meaning that it's like a part of you, but it's not you. An aspect, when I studied with Debbie Ford, she would call it like a subpersonality. Some people might call it parts, other people might call it identities. And so the real problem is that this identity is something that was this identity, this aspect is actually that it holds the domineering energy. It's holding the domineering consciousness. It's the one making the decisions without your conscious awareness. And these aspects that get in the way, hold us back, were developed out of survival. Right? Childhood trauma, behavior mechanisms that you learn to either keep yourself small and quiet so that you weren't disruptive to other people. Maybe you're like hiding out, right? You're really talented, but you don't put yourself out there. Or, survival mechanisms where it's like you learned at a very young age that you couldn't depend on anyone, so you can only depend on yourself. And now you're at a point in your life where you're not allowing anything to come in to support you. What did I say? Behavior mechanisms. It's like, we learn these behaviors from our parents. It gets passed down. We learn how to be with money or not be with money, or how it's manipulated, or how it's like, we hear these stories of how it's bad or wrong, or people with money are evil, or we're shamed for wanting things, or, money grows on trees, right? So we're in this generation of, or maybe this dimension, this level of consciousness that many of us are moving through and transmuting and changing what we learned, what we embodied, what was imprinted on us, not only for our own lives, but for our entire lineage. And that's another thing. Sometimes these patterns have been, of aspects have been carried down through our ancestral lineage. But I'm actually going to do a live about that one another time. The example I wanted to share with you tonight was about a client, very successful. She had, and just very brilliant. And she has had 6-figure years, five-figure months. But before we started to work together, all of that came crashing down because she couldn't like hold the capacity of it. But when we started to work together, we worked on her capacity, and she was able to hold more of her own expanded frequency. But in order for her to get to the next level, because when we were, when she started to come to me, she was feeling very overwhelmed in her business. She has been in business for like 10 years. She's married, she's got a couple of kids, she's got a house. And so there were, some financial responsibilities that she has. But the thing is that based on this aspect, what had happened is that she created her reality where she was the sole breadwinner, that nobody else, she wouldn't receive support from anybody else. She actually retired her husband. But that didn't come from like this empowered space of like co-creation. It came from this aspect of her that is too afraid to receive from anybody, too afraid to be dependent on anybody, too afraid to let go of her grips on the financial responsibility. So she took it all on her own. And then she became resentful. She became overwhelmed. And then it affected her business. Her money, this is why her money kept going up and kept going down, kept going up, because she doesn't want to be fully responsible for it. But her inner aspects are too afraid. We're too afraid to let go. And so what I did is I brought her through my Make Big Magic process. Hi, Jackie. I brought her through my Make Big Magic process, and with my psychic sight, I'm able to clearly identify what are these inner patterns, what is the energetic imprint that's affecting your capacity to create intentionally. What are the I can see and identify with you the subpersonalities that are making these decisions that are not for your highest and best good. And so after those are identified, what we do is I teach you and walk you through transmuting the energy that's holding these patterns, this aspect. This aspect has some personality. It's kind of like, we'll just say the word entity. It's like this, it has an energy, okay? And so when we take the energy and we transmute it, we alchemize it, we change form. This aspect, these aspects that you have, there's also very talented. There's a lot of gifts in them. So, everybody's trying to get rid of their ego or get rid of their shadow. There are gifts embodied in those. And so what we do is we extract the gifts, we alchemize the energy, change the form of the energy. So now that rather than it working against you, it's working for you. And then we set a clear trajectory of the vision, where they want to go. I receive the downloads and insights, and through this process, I'm teaching my clients how to do this for themselves as well. Is the exact action, the exact communication, the thing that needs to be done in order to shift, to have a timeline shift, to have a quantum leap in your reality, because it doesn't have to take a long time for these shifts to happen. You just got to be courageous enough to say that's what you want. Because the interesting thing is in this work that I do, a lot of times people will come to me and there's part of them wants to be ready to do this transformative work, to be aligned with this, business, love, or life that they desire. But then there's an inner aspect that feels as threatened. Because these aspects have worked really hard to keep us safe, to keep us, belonging, to not let us stand out, to not let us, take on the shame that's been passed around. Like, who am I to be rich if my parents have been telling me for years that, people are bad. It's like these, underlying imprints and conditioning that we received that an aspect is created from. And so a lot, many times clients will a part of them will be ready, but then this aspect shows up. It doesn't want to be annihilated. It's like fighting. It's saying, listen, I worked really hard your whole life to keep you safe, and now you're going to go and do this transformative work and get rid of me. So that's why it's like there's multiple layers to explore in this evolutionary human experience. But what I really want you to know is that you are way more powerful than you've been conditioned to believe. And if it's within your heart, it's completely possible. Just you have the courage to choose it. I would be honored to facilitate your journey through. Just reach out and let's see what we can do together.